Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the physical Zamasu. That is the physical Zamasu, who is a standard unit, a general banner unit. You can pick him up from any banner. He is a support slash damage kind of interesting style of unit. I think he's very interesting. I think he's very unique. But yeah, I think he's a potentially interesting unit. So we have Patara or Future Saga category lead, sub lead of 130%, raises attack and defense for 1 turn and lowers attack of the enemy on his super attack. Now this is where he becomes quite limited, but still very good in certain events and situations, especially with the 9th anniversary coming around. If there is a superclass enemy at the start of his attacking turn, he will activate his entrance animation and have attack and defense of 50% with the chance of evading an enemy's attack plus 20% for the rest of battle. He has attack and defense of 150% and an additional attack and defense of 50% with a chance of evading the enemy's attack plus 30% when performing a super. He has key plus 1 up to plus 4 and an additional attack and defense of 50% up to 200% at the start of each turn when there's a super class enemy. Extreme class category allies get attack and defense of 30% and an additional attack and defense of 20% and chance of performing a crit of plus 10% for characters who also belong to the Future Saga category. Future Saga category allies get 2 key for 2 turns after he evades an attack. So he's really kind of like a interesting Zamasu kind of combination unit. I think one thing I will say is obviously he performs a lot better against superclass units. That's not something that should be surprising, but I think the big thing is to just kind of discuss how big a difference it makes to him. You know, going from 30% damage reduction, for example, to 50% damage, to 50% evasion is crucial. That extra 50% attack and defense and how it combines with his additional stacking each turn is also super crucial. His 50% support for Future Saga extreme units is very nice, the 10% crit is very good, and the key he provides is crucial for units like Int Goku Black and for Tech Zamasu. The fact that he also applies it for 2 turns means that you don't necessarily have to have him on a rotation to benefit from the key buff for the following turn. One thing I will say, link-wise, he is in a mixed space. The big guys, Goku Black, Merge Zamasu, etc., all have big bad bosses, at least on the Worldwide Chaos Future Saga team. This Zamasu does not have that. He has godly power, power stood by God, he's got fierce battle, he's got some solid links, but he has Cold Judgment. Now Cold Judgment is available from a couple Goku Black and Zamasu units, but I wouldn't say it's incredibly accessible. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like the most accessible like link for Zamasu, and it's a very big or a sizable component of his raw defense. So you do have to a certain extent, kind of either cater to that or accept that you're not going to get that. If you're not going to get it, it is going to impact his defensive performance. Also, his evasion kicks on when he fires his super. So for his evasion to kick in, he has to fire his super attack, which means any AoEs or attacks that occur before he fires his super are going to give him some problems. Now this is a 55% version, and we're getting 300k defense, we're getting some decentish numbers. A rainbow version or a version with 2 dupes will have quite marketable improvement. In terms of build for Hidden Potential system, this is one of those units that's very interesting. He has some evasion, pretty good, 50%. Additionals do help in terms of raising his attack and defense, but he has no crit. But he does have crit for 10%. So you need to kind of decide how you want to go. I think for me, in terms of build, I would probably say, functionally speaking, I would say evasion and additional. The reason why I say evasion is although he's got 50% evasion, if you get, for example, let's say 20 evasion on him, that will give him an effective dodge rate of 60%, which is a bit higher and a bit more consistent. If you look at additionals, he gets increased defense, but also has increased attack lowering, which is helpful in quite a few red zones now, and upcoming events as well. So then it's just critting, and although his damage can reach decent heights, critting is not necessarily his main function. Yeah, it might necessarily not be his main function. So yeah, I think for me, he'll be like really solid overall. I just think that there really needs to be, for me, like consideration into how you build him. I think if you can get the build just right, he can look a lot more impressive, and I think dupes do help him. The 9th anniversary content should help him become a little bit more relevant, I think, which is really good. But yeah, I think otherwise, you know, the super class does restrict him a lot, especially when you consider things like the current red zones. With that being said, link-wise, you know, Cold Judgment, definitely a priority if you can. Godly Power, Bestowed by God, Fierce Battle, all easy to get. Gentleman, Brutal Beatdown, Prodigy is a little bit harder, but they're not major links, they don't do a lot that you need to focus on. Maybe Gentleman, the biggest one that you could focus on, but that's really about it. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.